C. E. Montague, The Short Stories. An Introduction. Charles Edward Montague was born in London on New Year's Day, 1867, and educated at the City of London School and then Balliol College, Oxford. At university, Montague, a keen writer, wrote several literary reviews for the Manchester Guardian and was then invited for a month's trial and, after impressing, to work there. Montague and the editor C.P. Scott shared the same political views, and between them they turned the Manchester Guardian into a vibrant and campaigning newspaper. They were for Irish Home Rule and against both the Boer War and the First World War. After the war had begun, Montague believed that it was important to give full and unequivocal support to the British government. Despite his age, 47, he was determined to serve. Montague was soon promoted to the rank of second lieutenant, and with it a transfer to military intelligence. The war also brought about a crisis in his faith, and it was suitably resolved by Montague, temporarily putting it to one side and carrying on with the fighting. In November 1918, the war was over, and Montague could now return home to his wife and family, and also to the Manchester Guardian, where he would continue to work until retirement in 1925. For Montague, the war had been corrosive, but it had given him much to write about, both for the paper and also for his books, which he now hoped to spend more time on. Among those to flow from his pen are the novels A Hind Let Loose and Rough Justice, as well as collections of short stories, other essays, and a travel book. He finally retired in 1925 and settled down to become a full-time writer in the last years of his life. Charles Edward Montague died in Manchester on the 28th of May, 1928, at the age of 61.
2 or 3 Witnesses by C. E. Montague. 1. Thanks to our spirited press, the eyes and the ears of the English nation are everywhere. Still, there may be, at any one time, more of these organs on one patch of ground than another. In all Connaught there were, at the time I am telling of, only 4 pairs of each. They were set in the heads of 4 London journalists, now taking their ease in their inn at the small town of Callow after the labours of the day. These labours had ended at 6. They had had to. The travelling assistant press censor from Dublin had ordered it so. Devil a word, he had said, would he take for the wire a moment later than 6, and it Christmas Day in a week's time, and the girl at the post office having a long way to walk to her home in the darkness of the night. The doyen of the 4 correspondents was Pellet, who wrote for The Day. Pellet liked to be called the doyen. His paper, he said, was the doyen of papers. When first he had heard of that absurd 6 o'clock rule, Pellet had taken pity upon its author, had gone at once to see him alone and let him know what was what. The whole of the great world, as Pellet explained, all the people who counted, read The Day. If any parcel of a country's history did not duly impinge at the time on the consciousness of the world, that parcel of history could hardly be said to exist. At most, it had only the shadowy, problematic existence of some orchid that might or might not have bloomed in some unexplored equatorial forest with no one to see. Had the assistant censor no love of his country? At any rate, he had no vision. His mind was provincial. Weren't there 4 of them in it, he asked, and not Pellet only? Every dog had his day. Once give a favour, and soon there'd be copy pouring into the place till God knew what hour, whereas any post office clerk that you'd see was a human creature the like of ourselves. So 6 o'clock it had been on this, the first day of the 4 pressmen's labours at Callow. It would be 6 o'clock tomorrow as well. This was graver. Tomorrow was going to be a big day. Thomas Curtain, greatest of Irishmen, was to be buried in homely state at his birthplace, Kilmullen, a village some 20 miles off. Here was a sob-story chance, manifestly. The London papers were wanting to feature the rite. Curtain's historic manner of giving old England a fugitive dig, now in the back and now in the stomach, during the pre-treaty
Sample complete. Ready to continue?